Master of Puppets has become one of the most popular songs in all of music history. As I was listening to this track the other day, I started to think about the sound of those awesome guitars. And I thought, I wonder what they're using on that. I did a little digging, and here's what I came up with. So I started out by looking on good old YouTube for some videos or some documentaries about the making of Master of Puppets. And I was really hoping to find some behind-the-scenes type stuff, but I couldn't really find anything. On their later albums like the Black Album, you get all kinds of really good behind-the-scenes footage of them creating the music. You can see what gear they're using, they talk to the engineers, all that kind of stuff. It's super cool, but I could not find anything really good on Master of Puppets. Now, if anybody out there knows of a cool documentary about Master of Puppets and the making of Master of Puppets and the gear used and any really cool behind-the-scenes footage, please let me know, because I would love to watch that. What I did find, though, was a really good article from ultimateguitar.com that goes over all of the gear used on Master of Puppets in depth. So most of the information that I'm going to give you here comes from this article called The Complete Guide to Master of Puppets. Again, that's at ultimateguitar.com. Go check it out. Okay, so if you're not familiar, Master of Puppets is the third full-length studio album from Metallica. It was released in 1986 on Elektra Records, and they recorded this sometime between October and December of 1985. The song we're talking about is the title track, also called Master of Puppets. Now, this song has been around for a long time, obviously since 86, almost 40 years. So those of us who have been listening to this record since it came out, it's nothing new. But I think the popularity of this song has really grown over the years, and it's kind of become a staple in pop culture, mostly thanks recently to the use of this song in the show Stranger Things, where character Eddie Munson famously plays Master of Puppets to draw in the evil entities in the Upside Down. I don't really know what to say about that scene. It was kind of weird, but honestly, kudos to Stranger Things for pushing a little Metallica onto the public. I love it. Now, I find it really interesting that this song even got popular at all. It's over 8 minutes long. This is a long song. So in terms of people's attention span and just songs being popular that are that long, it just doesn't happen. The other thing about this song is its lyrical content. It's all about the perils of drug use, and that's not generally what you find in a popular song. I always find it really interesting the way that songs can get repurposed and then find new audiences, and then its staying power just lasts and lasts and lasts. And that's exactly what happened with Master of Puppets. It was out there, those folks that were in the metal community or just were aware of Metallica, they all knew about this song for years and years. But suddenly you drop it in a really popular television show, and a whole new audience is exposed to it. Now, I am a huge fan of Metallica's first 3 records. For me, that early era is what Metallica is all about. And I feel like after those records, something changed musically that didn't resonate with me quite as much. I got introduced to Metallica on their very first album, Kill 'Em All. My brother bought this album because he heard one of the songs on the radio. He thought it was pretty cool, so he liked buying new metal music. He brought it home, hated it, and said, hey, you might like this. And yes, I did. I loved it. Their next album came out, Ride the Lightning, and I was completely hooked. Metallica was awesome. And then Master of Puppets comes out, and it's really the culmination of this early era. I mean, I think they got it all together, firing on all cylinders. The production was good, the songwriting was good. They had it all going at that point. Now, as a lot of you probably know, it was at this point that they were on tour, and unfortunately they lost their original bass player, Cliff Burton, in a tragic accident. After that, the band took a couple-year hiatus or so, got another bass player, and their next album, And Justice for All, not my favorite. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but honestly, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't. I'll say it out loud. I don't like And Justice for All. Yeah, okay, one cool song. There are some cool songs on the record, but for me, the production of that record is horrible, and it's hard for me to listen to it. And I just feel like something was different. And, you know, a lot of people will say, well, obviously it's Cliff. Cliff wasn't there. Well, yeah, okay, fine, but I think they were really in a transitional stage at that point, and they were trying to find their way. So for me, it's the early albums, and Master of Puppets is kind of the peak of that first era of Metallica. Now, I will say some of their newer stuff is pretty darn good. I mean, Hardwire Self-Destruct, great album. Their newest album, 72 Seasons, I like a lot of the stuff on there as well. It sounds like a band that's been around for 40 years and been playing the same type of music for 40 years, and it's just the maturity that you can hear. I'll also say there was a lot of really cool songs between Era 1, as I'll call it, and today's music as well. But for me, the early era is where it's at, and Master of Puppets was the pinnacle of Metallica. So what we're talking about here is what the heck guitars and amps were they playing on Master of Puppets? Why does it sound so great? Well, obviously their playing skills were really good. This is their third offering. They'd been touring a lot. They were ripe and ready to release this record. But let's talk about the specifics. And let's start with Kirk Hammett's gear. Kurt was playing a black Randy Rhoads V. It has a solid neck through construction, micro EMG 81 humbuckers, it's got a tune-o-matic bridge, 3 control knobs, and Goddard tuners. So apparently Kirk got this guitar shortly after recording Kill 'Em All, and he used it on most of the recording of Master of Puppets. So the story on this guitar is that Kirk actually got the guitar directly from the Jackson factory, and he had to wait a couple hours for the adhesive to dry before he could take it. Now, not surprising at all, he also used that black Gibson V that we see him using all throughout the early career of Metallica. That was also used for recording on this record. That one at the time was just equipped with 2 stock pickups. Later in 1987, he changed those to EMG 81s as well. That one had a set neck, 2 volume knobs, and 1 control knob. Like I said, this guitar you see Kurt using all the time on stage, and it was also the guitar that he used mostly for the recording of their first 4 albums. All right, so James Hetfield, what was James using? Well, this was actually kind of surprising to me because everything I've seen from that tour for Master of Puppets, he's playing an Explorer. So I guess in my head I thought, oh man, he must have used an Explorer to record this. But no, he did not. He was actually really into a Jackson King V at the time, and he used that to record most of the tracks on Master of Puppets, including the title track, Master of Puppets. Now, I guess he did use this Jackson V sometimes playing live during the tour, but I gotta be honest, I've never seen any footage of him playing it live. I'm sure somebody can point me to a video where he is, but almost everything that I see from the Master of Puppets tour is him playing that white Explorer, which looks kick-ass, by the way. Okay, so James's King V was white. It was a 1985 model. It had Grover tuners, and it was equipped with 2 Seymour Duncan Invader pickups. In 1987, he replaced the pickups with EMG 8160s, and then a few months after that, the neck on it broke, and he just abandoned the guitar altogether. Now, an interesting fact that I didn't know was that James was actually asked by Jackson Guitar to promote them. And he was like, no, I like Explorers, so I'm not gonna do that. He made a very bold statement back to Jackson by placing the sticker Kill Bon Jovi on the headstock of his Jackson guitar. And from then on, he was pretty much an Explorer guy. So as far as amplifiers go, both James and Kirk used a combination of Mesa Boogie Mark II-C Plus amps and the classic Marshall JCM 800 100 watt amps. And they were both playing through Marshall 412 cabs. Master of Puppets is undeniably one of Metallica's best songs ever. I think most people would agree with that. And I would say that it's probably one of the best songs on the album Master of Puppets. However, I don't think that it's the best song. I would argue that Disposable Heroes has got maybe the coolest guitar riff of any Metallica song. Now, that's just my opinion. I love that riff in the verse. I think it is amazing. It's super hard to play, for me anyway, and it's my favorite song on the record, Master of Puppets. However, Orion, the instrumental, that's pretty dope. All right, see you later. Subscribe.